Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Jyotirmayananda channel. We focus on spirituality, our journey to self realization. Please subscribe for the mystical meanings of the scriptures and to enjoy daily satsang with us. We are currently exploring the book The Art of Positive Feeling by Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj and narrated by Swami Nikhilananda. We are covering the topic of delusion or moha, Moha Maya and the three gunas. In the Gita, chapter 7, verse 13, Lord Krishna speaks about the deluding power of the three gunas or the modes of nature. And he says, त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावा वैरेभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम्. Meaning, deluded by these three modes of nature, all this world does not know me, who am different from them and immutable. This world is created by the blend of three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva is purity, rajas activity, tamas inertia. On the psychological plane, when you become calm, relaxed, and aware of the divine presence, there is sattva in your mind. When the mind becomes free of anger, hate, and greed, and filled with divine qualities, a window to eternity opens within your heart. You discover a mysterious source of inner peace. Sattva beckons you to that. When you are agitated and distracted, unable to be one pointed, filled with ambitions, hypocritical and ostentatious, rajas is predominating in your personality. And when you become prone to irrationality, bitterness, frustration, pervasive pessimism, anger, and hate in your mind, and you lose all spiritual sensitivity, understand that tamas has taken over your mind. A family of thieves. Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa told a parable about a king who was traveling alone, carrying a great treasure with him. Seeing him vulnerable to attack, three thieves sneaked up behind him, robbed him, tied him up, and dumped him in a dry well. In a while, however, one of the three thieves developed compassion for the king. While the other two thieves were away, he secretly came back and untied him. Then he guided the king to the edge of the forest and said, "Now you are free to go." The king responded, "Why don't you come with me? You helped me to be free of that bondage. Come to visit me, and I will reward you with lots of treasure." The thief said, "No, your majesty. I belong to the family of thieves, and I have no access to your royal palace." The implication of the parable is that all three of the gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, are thieves. They attack the soul, which is essentially the emperor of emperors, the divine self, and rob it of its glory and majesty. Then they tie it up with the fetters of illusion and throw it into the dry well of repeated embodiments. The thief that develops compassion towards the soul is sattva. He can lead it to liberation, but that is as far as he can go. As a member of the family of thieves, he belongs to the relative world and cannot transcend it. It is easy to see how rajas and tamas are like thieves that keep you tied up with illusion, but how can it be that sattva, the highest guna, also deludes us? When sattva visits the mind for only a short duration, when it comes as a guest once in a while, it causes delusion. When you are not accustomed to the presence of sattva, you erroneously conclude that the happiness it brings to you comes from the objects or situations that are outside of you at the moment. It makes you want to secure those objects and leads you into a state of dependency and bondage. On the other hand, if sattva is allowed to stay with you, to abide in your personality, then that sattva promotes enlightenment. Such abiding sattva opens the door to internal reflection and shows you that happiness is coming from within yourself. So, you plan to find a guru to get into satsanga or good association and to promote that sattva more and more. Insight into Maya. When Rajas and Tamas predominate your mind, the deluding forces of Maya or cosmic illusion increases and Moha swells up. Everything is colored by illusion. But when sattva increases, the deluding forces of Maya diminishes and fetters break. Maya has two aspects. Avidya is ignorance and Vidya is knowledge. Avidya drives you into more and more ignorance, increasing involvement in the world of time and space. It keeps you bound to thinking of the past or planning for the future. Under its sway, you do not have even a moment's rest, nor the peace of mind to transcend your ego and discover the joys of eternity. While avidya holds you down to the world of relativity, vidya lifts you up. Using the simile of the Christian cross, avidya keeps you horizontal, always pressured by the past, moving towards the future. Vidya gives you a vertical lift. Spiritual knowledge enables you to rise above the limited world of time and space and transcends it. Everyone in this world who has not attained enlightenment is as if fettered by chains, and in a fettered condition moves from one embodiment to another. In Sanskrit, fetters are known as pashas, and therefore the scriptures refer to human beings in this predicament as pashus or animals, and to God as Pashupati, the Lord of all the animals. There is a very famous temple in Nepal. It's called Pashupatinath Temple of Lord Shiva. You may have heard about it. But that's the meaning of Pashupati, the Lord of the animals. Therefore, in order to escape the delusive aspect of Maya, in order to get out of the world of time and space, Sattva has to be promoted and Rajas and Tamas have to be controlled and sublimated. Don't let yourself be tied up by moha. Moha and mamata, the sense of mindness, put shackles on the feet of your soul. Bound by moha and mamata, the soul that could have experienced infinity and eternity becomes confined instead to the small circumference of its attachments in the realm of time and space. This point is simply illustrated in the following parable. Once a king had a pet hawk that used to fly freely and enjoy its freedom. In the course of its daily flight, the hawk began to perch upon the hut of an old woman. The lady in that little hut used to have some fragrant hot pudding cooking, and she would open the window and talk to the hawk. Oh, little dear little one, she would coax, come to me and I will feed you and keep you warm, for you must be feeling very cold out there. At first, the hawk was merely amused by her soft words and would fly off after a brief rest. As days passed, however, he began to think, how cozy it must be inside the hut. It really is cold out here, and maybe I do deserve a little extra warmth. Surely it would be so nice to have someone take care of me. So, with these thoughts in the mind, the hawk flew through the window into the old lady's hut. Immediately, the old lady caught the hawk and tied its legs well so that he could not slip into the wilderness again. Then she began to feed the hawk some of her delicacies. For an hour or so, the hawk felt very comfortable. Soon, however, he began to think of the freedom that he used to have. All the while, the old lady went on saying to the hawk, "Now look how wonderful life is. No more running wildly, no more flying everywhere. You are mummy's boy now." Meanwhile, the king began to miss his hawk and he embarked on a search mission. As he passed the little hut in the forest, he looked through the window, and lo and behold, to his great surprise, he saw his pet hawk with his legs tied. "Oh, little hawk," he cried out, "what misery have you brought upon yourself by your delusion?" Like the hawk in this parable, the human spirit, which is always essentially beyond all confines, repeatedly accepts a condition of limitation. It is your birthright to fly freely everywhere, yet you somehow become accustomed to living in a cage like a bird that has forgotten the joys of freedom. Om Tat Sat. So we will continue this beautiful journey and the chapter of Moha in tomorrow's satsang.